Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you some easy DIY wall decor that I did for my daughter's bedside nursery. I'm starting with these wood decals I got from the Dollar Tree that come in like jungle animal prints. I think it's an elephant, a gorilla, and a giraffe, if I'm not mistaken. A lion, I'm sorry. Everything I have, I'm actually getting from the Dollar Tree, from the paints and paint brushes and paper plates to the mixing tray that I'm using to create the paint. And so basically what I'm doing here is creating a shade of brown, a dark shade of brown, and I'm simply going to add white to it to give it a softer hue. What I really like about these wooden decals is it actually picked up the paint really well, and you could still see the wood grain showing through. So once it was all completed, you'll see at the end, it really created some really nice shades of brown wood that looked really nice for her decor. So it takes a couple tries to get the right shade. I simply mixed red, orange, and a little bit of black in order to get a darker shade. And again, I'm just adding white gradually. You'll begin to see that in order to get a different shade of brown. And this is just a really easy DIY. I will say with these, you don't want to be too heavy on the paint, because I did experience a little bit of lifting with one of the decals, the wooden decals. And I think just because it is like a thin wood, just putting too much paint on it did actually create some lift, and you'll probably see that, I think, with this initial one here. So you'll just want to be really light with that. Something you can also do is actually put the paint on and then rub it off, and it creates more of like a stain as opposed to a solid paint color. Alright guys, here the cutouts are all finished and dried, and I'm going to be placing them on the wall with this larger wooden set that I got from Amazon, which also has wooden hues, different shades of wood. Very nice. I really love these for my daughter's jungle safari theme. And I'm simply going to be using command strips to actually apply the smaller wooden cutouts, and just some small nails for the larger ones. And here is the way they all turned out when placed on the wall. Okay, with this next DIY, again guys, I'm beginning with all materials from the Dollar Tree. This is a wood-toned rub-on transfer. And then I have some different patterns of wallpaper, which I thought was really cute. Simple canvases, I think these are 8 by 11. And then I even have an X-Acto knife from the Dollar Tree, which is great for, easy paper cuts. Some Mod Podge. And you'll notice I have a cutting mat and a ruler as well. So just getting started here, I'm opening up the canvas and the rub-on transfer. And basically what I'm going to begin doing, because I want to use this as a border around the canvas to create sort of a wooden frame. I'm going to cut this into strips, even strips, to see how how many I need to actually create a even border around the entire canvas. So that's what you see me doing here. I'm simply measuring it out, and I think I did end up doing them about 1 inch apart, if I'm not mistaken. And I started here with the X-Acto knife, just trying to remove the white trim, but it actually ended up being just much easier to use some scissors. So you'll see me doing that here. So here I begin laying the strips around the border of the canvas and measuring just how long I need each one to be so I can get an exact fit. I will note here that my cuts were slightly uneven, so I did kind of have to play around with it a little bit to match up the ones that were close in width, to create, you know, a more consistent, cohesive look. I will also note that as I was sticking the transfers down, because they do have like a light adhesive to hold them in place while you're doing the transfer, I did not have a scraper. So you'll see here I'm using the end of my scissors to actually transfer the pattern, which probably did create some of the bubbles as I was trying to transfer it. If you have a scraper, I know they have them at Dollar Tree as well. I just did not have one on hand at this time. So, I mean, I think you could use anything like a quarter or, you know, some type of hard edge to do the transfer. But I will say not having a straight edge, I think created more of the bubbles. And so it ended up being a happy mistake because I, again, am trying to create a distressed wooden look for this frame. So it did actually work out well in my favor. But if you want more of a, you know, a clean transfer, I would suggest using a hard straight edge as opposed to something like I did with the scissors. Okay, here guys, I'm just giving you a view of how it turned out. Again, I just really love this distressed look. To me, it appears as, you know, a sort of bamboo or sugar cane or just distressed wood that you would find in the jungle. So next, I'm going to begin cutting out my letters. Now, I am basically freehanding these. I'm creating the letters myself, and I'm just measuring the length and the width that I want them to be when they're centered on the canvas. I am using a straight edge to get cleaner lines, but again, for the most part, I am just freehanding this. And so I did want them to be a little bit quirky. They did take on more of like a geometric shape, which is what I was going for with the letters. So basically you'll see me try to create even halves, but you know, each letter does kind of have its own character, and I think that just made the project come out that much better in the end. So that's what you see me doing here. I'm starting with the first letter, which is an A for my daughter's name, and so I'm just cutting the wallpaper down to size. I'm going in here with an X-Acto knife for the center cutouts because I did just want more of a precise, clean cut. And sometimes with the scissors, you can't just get that good of a cut, especially for something that's so narrow and small like the center of this letter A. So something to note there, it is easier to use an X-Acto knife for this particular instance, and I found that it did create a much cleaner cut. However, you'll see at some point later that I am going to frame that out with some yarn anyway, so you don't actually see the cut. So it's not necessary to use an X-Acto knife, but again, if you want a more precise, clean cut and you decide to just forego on outlining it, then that might be something that you want to consider. So now that the letter is all cut out, I am just cleaning it up a little bit, fixing the edges that are a little uneven, And I'm going to begin with the Mod Podge so that I can adhere it to the canvas. So because this is wallpaper, it does actually have a sticky backing, but because I wanted it to have a more permanent long-term hold, I am actually going ahead and applying Mod Podge to the full canvas. This is going to seal the ends where we did the rub-on transfers, and again, it's going to give a more permanent seal for the letter. Now you can also use some cardstock paper in this instance as well. However, I'm just using this wallpaper because again, I saw it at Dollar Tree and thought it was cute and that it would fit this theme. And here, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this sticky backing and place it on the canvas. And so I'm just going to go over the whole thing again with a bit more Mod Podge. And I am using a Mod Podge that dries glossy and clear, so it creates a really nice finish for this canvas. Okay, I'm starting here with outlining the letter just with some yarn that again I got from the Dollar Tree. A lot of these items, you guys, I just pick up as I see them because I do often work on craft projects. So this is all stuff that I kind of already had on hand, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if the same colors and patterns and things are still available today, but you can always make your own and, you know, supplement with the other materials that you may already have. I'm just going in here with some hot glue, and I am basically outlining this letter with another natural toned yarn to kind of match the overall color scheme. And so this is very easy. You know, the hot glue dries instantly, so it makes it pretty easy to go around and outline the letter without having it, you know, shift and move around. If you are using something, you know, like just a regular liquid glue, you know, it might be a little bit more difficult, but still just as easy. You may just want to have like some pins or something to kind of hold the different points in place while you transition and go around. And I am actually doing this with different strands of yarn as opposed to just one continuous strand, because this was left over from a different DIY project that I had started. And so that's why you see me using different pieces here. So yeah, that might actually be something that helps if you're using some liquid glue as well. Just cutting the pieces to length on each side of the letter and gluing it on that way, so that way you can avoid any shifting as you're going around. But the hot glue makes it very easy. And I'm sure you guys recognize the outfit changes. I was very much pregnant at this point, and so I was just trying to get this done prior to my daughter's arrival. So I did break this craft project down into a couple days. Especially for drying purposes. Once you start applying the Mod Podge, it does need time to actually kind of dry before you start applying other things. So I'm sure it could be done in one day. You just would want to allot for the drying time in between. And here is the final look, you guys. I'm really happy with the way that this turned out, and it probably only cost me about $15 to make. So I hope you'll give it a try, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.